Alright, so the Super Dragon Ball Heroes campaign is about to be on Dokkan Battle in about a week or so time. I expect the campaign, again, it's stated to start the 21st Pacific time, so a little over a week. But, on that day, obviously, we'll cover, like, celebration info, things like that. So, basically, starting from now, we're going to start making Heroes videos every day, talking about, what I would like to see for future content, the EZAs, probably do specific videos on, like, what I want to see for Rose or Vegito, etc, etc. But, this is just going to be a general video about what I overall want to see. Plus, I asked, people on Twitter, what is your biggest wish for this year's Dragon Ball Hero celebration? And we'll see what some of the people are saying. I could already, like, imagine some of the replies, like, no restrictions right to the character kits. I don't talk about what I want to see, but let me know in the comments below what you would like to see for the Heroes celebration, and if there's any, like, specific, like, character revisit or anything like that they may want to see me do, I'll look over them, and I'll definitely see. But, let's take a look right into this. So again, this is a very, very hype years of Heroes for me. I personally am more excited for like this year of Heroes than like a lot of the previous years. I have the banners, the last year's celebration pulled up, but I feel like you could argue this is like the most hype year of Dragon Ball Heroes, right? Like 2020 like definitely comes close. I feel like the closest 2020. Getting Super Saiyan 3 Xeno, Goku, and Vegeta was cool too, but I feel like in terms of like the character selection, this year feels the best, right? We have Goku Black, we have Vegito, we have Broly, even this Vegito form here is really, really like something else, right? And we're gonna have the Awakenings for the Cooler and the Janemba. But I think it's a very good choice of characters, especially the first three, right? I feel like the main headliners feel the strongest, like the most high premium characters, right? Because this year, we had Bardock and Gohan, which are really cool, but I feel like a Rose character in here, like, just makes it feel a lot better, and these are full power Limit Breaker versions, so I don't know. Plus the fact that these characters are also getting EZAs anyways makes it just even more exciting. So that's why I think this is my personal favorite year, this character selection choice. So hopefully things turn out really, really well, but obviously we won't be able to know until we have the actual kits in game. Now, just quickly going over all the units here. Again, Rose, Goku, Blacks. This is a Crimson Master Saiyan, Super Saiyan Rose 3. So obviously it's technically not named Goku Black, it's Crimson Master Saiyan, which makes a lot of sense. What do I want to see from him, just like as a baseline? Thinking about it, I really want this guy to kind of be like supporting here, like some sort of like defensive support unit. I would really like for villains. Fusions as a monster team recently, I think like a multi-turn support unit would be really good for this guy. And then when he transforms, I believe this is just like a normal transformation and not an active skill transformation. Probably still keep some supportive abilities, but he's probably just gonna end up being like some offensive, like, not necessarily strong offensively, defensively, but more towards like, like big damage and like tanking rather than like a supportive kind of character role. But who knows, I could easily see him at least keep some supporting abilities. It would just be a shift from like mostly support to mostly damage and defense, if that makes sense. Super Saiyan 4 Vegito here. This guy, I just see being like the strong, like all arounds. Like maybe like his attack and defense stats won't be as high as this guy, but maybe he'll have some extra tech like the super attack counter. Maybe just overall just a balanced kind of character. I'm not sure about supporting. The normal Super Saiyan 4 Vegito does support, right? Maybe he'll do something like that. But we only have one Super Saiyan 4 Vegito to really base off of this guy, so I can't really say for sure. I think Broly, basing off the normal Super Saiyan 4 Broly, probably just going to be a really huge offensive character. I could see a lot of additional attacks. Broly's usually have additional attacks, maybe some damage reduction too on top of that. But mainly offense is where I see them taking this Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Broly. Just because, it's a Broly character. Like, we don't really usually get, like, defensively strong Broly characters in this game, which is kind of weird because Broly's like super tanky, but I can see him still having damage reduction. Dark King Fu, again, supportive, just a mega dodge support character. I think makes a lot of sense. Probably will, do some, like, I feel like all these characters probably will at least do some decent damage, just because at this point, like, so many characters nowadays do really good damage. So I would be surprised if, like, none of these guys do damage. Maybe if they want to make this video like a really strong defensive character, like I could see like them making this video like a very strong defensive tank. It just, like, I don't know, just this a sixth sense where it's like, supporting into offense, just general rounded mega offensive support tank unit. That's what I'm thinking. Like, they probably want to have all these characters do different roles. I mean, if you take a look at the previous, again, Heroes banners, like, a lot of these characters did do different roles. Like, this guy was kind of like the tank unit. This guy was more offensive. Hearts was kind of like balance and support. Janemba was defense. Metal Cooler was kind of like leaning towards like trying to be offensive, right? And then, like, you could see the same here: support, defense, offensive. You're basically balanced, right? You're like, kind of like special abilities like ceiling attack lowering. You're also support dodge unit. Like, when they bring these characters out, they like to give them all usually different roles from each other, or like different strengths. Obviously, I mean, especially with this such a huge batch of characters, they probably don't want them all to do the same thing, especially if they're trying to make the heroes team a thing. So that's my thought process. I think these guys will keep the same roles, like a very strong defensive character. Probably going to be leaning towards offense, but he has his damage reduction, so I could see him being pretty solid defensively too. Free-to-play Toa, zero clue what they're going to do with her, but, we'll see. But just general thoughts. If you take a look here at the Dragon Ball Heroes campaign really quickly, again, this being updated would be really nice. I think what I wanted to see specifically was the red zone. I think I would love to get more stages to the Ultimate Red Zone, or maybe just like Super Dragon Ball Heroes Edition 2, Ultimate Red Zone STBH Edition 2, something like that, where they just add, what's it called? Like, it's just like 3 new fights, or even like up to 5. Maybe they just add a couple of more fights here. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's no really, like, real reward here anyways, and it's just like general missions. There's nothing like, oh, beat all the stages and you get like a support memory. Maybe this year they add some sort of support memory to this. That could be really interesting, but who knows? There's a lot of things that they could add for the hero team. Maybe they can make like a how to explain it, like a specific like orb event where you can get like special skill orbs for the characters. I think would also work out really well, because they do that for a lot of these categories now. I think Heroes is a team that definitely would deserve to get something similar to that. But yeah, that's just generally what I would like to see. Again, I'll probably just have videos where I go more in depth about each of these, but let's just hop right into it. I guess let's take a look at the quotes real quick. Let's see. Zero restrictions makes a lot of sense to me. Again, a lot of people don't want these characters to be restricted. A lot of people want we want to use like Super Saiyan 3 Rose and the Zamasu team, and it's not like, oh, we have to run an extreme class heroes character with him on rotation for him to get guard or something like that, right? We don't want like, oh, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, we need to have a crossover category character in the same rotation for him to have like, I don't know, a high chance to counter super attacks or something, like a really strong mechanic, right? That's the issue with, I think, the Heroes teams last year, is like a lot of these characters are very restricted to being ran on the Heroes team. I mean, we take a look at Super Saiyan 4 Goku again. Keep in mind this, the way this worked is that, well, you had to have full like a full superclass full power rotation, or a full Dragon Ball Heroes superclass rotation. Like, you couldn't even mix and match these two. Like, you can't run like full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku with this guy and then run like Xenopan as a floater, because it has to be either or. So I think that was an issue. But especially like pushing super class Dragon Ball Heroes and extreme class Dragon Ball Heroes, especially in a time where like there's a whole like game reset. Like, I think that was not the smart move. Like, even to that extent, like dividing the Heroes team, I think like generally it's like okay to kind of push for like an extreme class base team or a super class base team, but to restrict these characters and get like main like abilities, like, this guy 30% reduction he loses out on. This unit loses defense and a guaranteed additional super attack if you're not running the specific team, right? When, you know, the heroes team, especially after the game reset, there isn't really a lot of good characters at that point, and they didn't give us enough. Even Hearts, he wants all allies attacking the same turn to be extreme class crossover. He gives a lot of extra support, and, you know, I guess the stun doesn't really matter, but a lot of this extra support could be really good. You know, even the active skill could be used third turn if characters, if all allies are extreme class, right? Maybe that could be helpful in some specific game modes, but I don't know. And even like super hard specifically, right? He gets a lot of extra attack. I just feel like limiting this team like that, maybe this year it'll be a little better because now we have way more options, and some of the heroes units from last year are like okay, but I don't know. I think it just would be much better if they don't limit that, because imagine like Super Saiyan 4 Broly, right? We took a look at this guy earlier. What if he was like limited to extreme class heroes? But it's like, who are you running on extreme class heroes that's gonna work with Super Saiyan 4 Broly? Like, no one's gonna link with them. It's like all like, you know, these like random characters. Like there's like Cumber would be like your best linking partner with this guy, and it's like that's probably not gonna work out. I mean, I guess we'll have like the normal Super Saiyan 4 Broly. You know, you could run them there. I guess that'd be the only rotation, but like you would need to have those two together, and that's pretty much your only shot. You would much rather actually run Broly with, like, you know, the other Super Saiyan 4s. So yeah, that's one thing. I feel like they should not do this. The huge restrictions. Like, look at the amount of categories this guy is on. Like, they could have used them on so many of these different teams. Like, Super Saiyan 4 Broly probably could help out some of these villain teams, even though he doesn't really have big bad bosses and stuff like that. Like Rose, like this Crimson Mass Saiyan would definitely help out a lot of villain teams if he's like a very strong support unit. The Zamasu team, but it's like, oh, we need, again, like I said, extreme class heroes. That would really suck. Built for teams other than crossover, so like you're saying Rose for Roma God specifically, Vegito for Fusion Fighter. I feel like that would also, like, building a character towards having to be on a certain team. I think having them get benefits from a certain team, like if it's like Rose gets like 50% attack and defense if there's like a crossover character in the rotation, but it's not like needed, or it's just like an extra buff where it's like he's at his best on this team but he's still really good on some other teams, that's fine. But if it's like building them for teams other than crossover, like, you know, Vegeta has to be ran on fused fighters for him to be good. I'm not really sure about that because it kind of depends on the team, and it's like you could throw this character in that team, well, if the rest of the team is still not really going to be that great, like Fusion Fighter is a good team right now, right? I think I would say Fusion Fighter is a good team. Like Realm of Gods for Rose is like it could definitely work out like for the Zamasu team, but you know, in the future, you know, restricting him to that team could cause him to age out faster if that team doesn't get consistent buffs. Like Fusion Fighter doesn't necessarily get consistent buffs, I would say. Like I mean, I could see, specifically for the upcoming future, I could see us getting like Super Vegito, Super Gogeta, you know, and all these other kind of characters. But I think you guys get the general point I'm talking about. Like if Janemba was like restricted to like Corona Body and Mind, right? Or, you know, Metal Cooler was restricted to, I don't know, and Corona Body and Mind, like himself, right? It would have to be one of these larger teams. So it could work out, but I just feel like restricting characters to having to be around in a certain team, I'm not really a fan of. Not saying that it probably won't happen and it can't work out well, but the idea itself maybe is not the best necessarily. Make Rose and Few the best units, and both working great with LR Fusion Zamasu. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, both of these are, well, I don't know if Few's gonna be a God Key unit, because I know that I guess I'm not really too sure in Heroes. If you guys want to correct me in the comments below, that'd be great. I should have left out the Dragon Ball Heroes category. But like, we see Demon God Deborah. Like, what is this? Few is not on like Realm of Gods, right? Yeah, that one is not. Maybe Dark King Few could be, but like Demon God Deborah here, this guy wasn't actually put on Realm of Gods, which is interesting. I feel like Mekigabura, I think he's on Realm of Gods, is he not? Yeah, so maybe what's this called? Dark King Fu could be in Realm of Gods, because it's Dark King Mikikabara and Dark King Fu, right? You know, you guys kind of get where I'm coming from there. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I can see that. Hearts is on Realm of Gods, is he not? He's actually not on Realm of Gods, right? So, well, actually, it makes sense. Hearts wanted to kill all the gods. Yeah, okay. See, my Dragon Ball Heroes knowledge isn't up to snuff, right? You know, you gotta forgive me for that if I get one or two mistakes done. But if this guy is on like the Realm of Gods team, having this guy and this guy be like the best units, you know, would really help the Fusion Zamasu team, and that's Jian's wish, right? Specifically for this batch of characters. And I would say the characters we want to be good the most probably are the villains. Like if it's like we have to choose like characters that are going to be good and characters that will be messed up. I wouldn't really want Vegeta to be messed up, but like villain teams I think really need the help a lot more. I mean, not that I want any of the, again, because they're all like brand new named characters, but I think villain teams need the help quite a bit. So it's really good that this batch of characters are just mainly villain centric. I mean, we have Rose, Broly, Fu, Towa, and Golden Metacooler and Janemba, right? Like, there's a lot of good shots for villains to get a lot of help from this. So that's helpful. And then, you know, Fusion's Amosity, either way, they could fit under his leader skill, under the 150% portion. So, like, if Janemba's, like, a really good defensive unit, like, you could probably potentially even still fit under the team. Though I don't remember if, because, what's his face? Isn't, top of my head is not, like, Fusion's Amasu's leader skill, it's obviously Realm of Gods. I think it's, yeah, World War Chaos and Fuse Fighters. So I mean, like, even Vegito would fit on this team, right? I mean, not that you would probably want to run Vegito, but yeah. Okay. Goku Black, good, makes sense. Into Towa's EZA. So yeah, we're getting into the EZAs now. I think you know, we know that basically a lot of these 2020 characters are going to be getting their EZAs. Basically every character that's listed here except for Vegito, except for Bardock and Gohan will be getting their EZAs because they all awakened in 2020. So we want to keep that in mind. For example, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All 8 of these characters. Again, you can maybe say Demerga being really good. Towa, again, another potentially really strong villain character. She's a really, really strong villain support type unit. If she's really good, that helps villains out quite a bit. Unfortunately, she's not on, again, in Realm of Gods, but again, if she's like a very high, like, you know, 70% chance to dodge character, you could probably even still fit her on like some of those villain teams. She is on Terrifying Conqueror, so you could just put her on the Mod Junior team, right? The Mod Junior team would definitely love to have her out there for sure. That would help out quite a bit. Let villains be good. Broly and Vegito's, no, both Broly's EZA is really good. Make Rose good for the Zamasu team, make Vegito good. Make Metacooler insane. I think Metacooler actually has a pretty solid chance of being good, because I could see, like, let's say they bump up his reduction from like 30% to like 50%, and then he has the additional super attacks. He could be interesting. I think it depends on how fast his reduction builds up. He's not going to be necessarily a good unit for like the Fusion's Masu fight, I would say, because like he's instantly like an AoE character. But you know, let's say for Omega, maybe this guy could be a really strong character in the Omega Shenron boss fight. Hope they all suck. That's a bad idea. I think the mindset of like wishing characters are bad I never really got. Like, I mean, I hated Super Trunks. Even I would still be like, you know, if he was good, that's awesome, right? But you know, luckily it turned to being bad. I'm a hater for Super Trunks, but I think most of the time hating characters like or wanting them to be bad when they could be good and really help. Like especially like these batch of characters where it's like they're all brand new named characters. If this is like, you know, Super Vegito, at the end of the day, we're gonna get a new Super Vegito, right? But we're not getting a new Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito for like at least like 5, 6, 7 plus years or something like that, right? We're not getting Super Saiyan 3 Rose Crimson Mask Saiyan probably like ever ever again. Like, so why, I don't know why these characters would have to be bad. Vegito good, Golden Metal Cooler, free to play Towa to go crazy. You wish they're all good, that's all. Okay, here's some like different missions. Using stamina for something different than link leveling. Have daily missions in order to use testing units. See, this could be cool. Like, you know, testing the units. Like, oh, I want to summon for them. Because a lot of games, like, I know Honkai Star Rail, for example. Or even, like, doesn't Legends do this? Where it's like, there's like the little, like, tester, you know, where you can, like, play around with the character before you summon on them, like, on the character summon screen. Like, am I not, like, is that not crazy? Am I crazy for saying that? Star Rail has the same thing where you're able to test units. Genshin has the same thing, right? Being able to test the units, like, in a little, like, you know, training stage, that could be interesting. Just like a little, like, just to test them out. I think that'd be cool. Why not? I that's a good idea. Actually, I really do like the idea. We'll take a look at some of the replies, and I'll end from there. For Broly to be unrestricted and also the best, that's pretty fair. Yeah, you want to pull all of them quickly to save for New Year's. That's very fair too. Berserk Vegeta to be the best Heroes units. I mean, it would be funny if it's like he's the best one, because I feel like he's the one that no one's really talking about. I feel like, yeah, it kind of makes sense, I think, because, you know, people are gonna mainly be talking about these two, I think, and Broly. And then, like, these two are gonna be on the side, but I feel like, you know, I see a lot of people talk about Fu, and, like, you know, as, like, being a pretty strong villain unit, but, like, no one really talks about Berserk Vegeta, from what I've seen, personally. Good units, not restricted, good designs and units, STR, Vegito, and AJ Rose for typings, limited restrictions, okay. Please be good. I mean, nice if we got a Heroes version for all difficult events. I mean, if we got like a Heroes, like, you know, like an event where it's like kind of like the Shadow Dragon Saga event or something, where, oh, not the, well, I guess the Shadow Dragons event, not the Saga event, but you guys get what I mean. Super Saiyan 3 Rose in our box. Wish this category had an LR. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a thing this year, unfortunately. More animations that look like the anime, and then for the units, not to be bad. Rose and Vegito having off-rotation supports. Yeah, I off rotation support would really help this team out. And the one with this one, again, no restrictions. Again, you can obviously tell a lot of people from last year did not like restrictions, so hopefully this year they took note of people's, like, I'm assuming a lot of the, like, big Heroes fans left feedback in the surveys about Heroes not having restrictions, and like, they do. I'm like 99% sure they'd look at the replies in social medias that we reply to them with. So I obviously could, there's a huge backlash last year about these characters being really, like, restricted to the Heroes team. So I would say hopefully it won't happen this year. I can't say like it won't. I can't really even say that I don't think it'll happen, because I think it can go either way, but hopefully they're not as restricted and we could have fun with them on a lot of different teams, but we'll see. That's it for me though, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.